Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Leslye with What Leslye Loves, and in this current season, I am absolutely loving handbags, although I feel like that's somewhat trailing off. That's probably big talk for someone who's still buying handbags, but anyhow, I am kind of diversifying my channel a little bit and sharing a little bit more than just handbags, because there are indeed other things that I love. But today I am here with a handbag in front of you, and this is none other than the beautiful Mulberry mini zipped Bayswater. And this is kind of a long awaited by actually one person. If you're still around, you asked me to do a review on this particular bag, and I had a couple comments early on, I think like in one of my videos where I'm doing an introduction about what my channel is about. I have this beauty as the thumbnail, and she is a stunner. She's absolutely beautiful, and I put a ton of thought and research into this particular bag. It took me quite a long time to nail down what I wanted, because this one's a bit special because I sold probably a good 4 or 5 handbags to put all towards into this one bag. So lots of eggs in one basket, as they say. And this one in particular, I really wanted to, I felt like I had this season where I was super into black bags, and I've kind of grown out of it, as you can tell, as you've seen my collection shift a little bit. Part of it I'm going to blame actually on my husband, who has great taste actually, so I trust his judgment. And he was like, hey, don't you want a little bit of contrast? Because he was noticing I was very much wearing just black bags for a season, probably around, I would say probably about a year ago, I kind of started in my phase of black bags. Anyhow, I sold quite a few. I was like, you know what, he's right. Let me tailor my collection a little bit, and let me kind of, instead of having a bunch of certain price point handbags, let me divert it all into one higher end handbag. And although this isn't necessarily in the space of luxury, I would categorize it that way. Especially at this price point, I would say anything over $1,000 is probably in the luxury realm and space to me. You can disagree, but this bag with its pebbled leather and with its hardware definitely feels very luxurious to me. So let me dive in. I'm going to take this little twilly thing off. I know different brands call it different things. I'm going to call it a twilly today, but up close we have the mini zipped Bayswater, and they have this, I believe, in 2 other sizes. I think really only 2, no, 1 other size. No, there is a micro one of this, and so this is the one in between, and they have a small size, which is not small, it's pretty large. From my understanding, this is probably akin to, in size, to the Celine luggage bag or luggage tote, probably in there. I'm not great on Celine sizes, but they're medium size one, because I know there's a smaller one, and probably akin to an Hermes Birkin 25. I know some of you Hermes lovers are probably going to be like, if I have an Hermes lover watching, but blasphemous. However, this, I wasn't ever really looking for an Hermes Birkin, or I did kind of like the Celine luggage bag, but I didn't personally love the like robot look to it. So I landed on this because I wanted this bag to be something that I could lean in and wear it a bit more professionally, but also be able to wear it casually if I wanted to. So for me, my must-haves in a bag are a back pocket. I'm not getting that here, unfortunately, but I have found that I really love to have a top handle. I don't have to have a zip closure, but if you're going to be this wide of a bag, then I super appreciate that this one does. So let me, nice and smooth. I love the leather tassel on that. This bag is all black on black, and I'm going to take this strap off, but I suppose I'll kind of start with the bad, right? I'm always one to sandwich the good with the bad, and then add something good. So The one con that I'm going to give this bag right off the bat is the strap width. It's pretty skinny. Like, I have pretty wide thumbs, so that's probably not a fair assessment, but it's a very skinny strap, I feel like, for the size of this bag. However, while I don't prefer how it looks aesthetically, it still functions really well, because when you have this bag pretty well packed, this is really comfortable. Like, it's never gotten on my nerves. But in conjunction with the strap, I don't love where the D-ring placement is on this bag. So one on this side, one on this side. While it helps to balance the bag out so that when you're holding it, it's not like toppling over at all because of its more wider profile, this bag taught me that I really don't like my straps to connect on a bag like this. So anytime I've looked at a bag and I've gotten tempted by something on Instagram or YouTube, I very quickly can eliminate it if it has these D-rings in that position. I don't like it. It doesn't work for me. Not how I carry or use my bags personally. So unfortunately, those are the two dings that I give this bag. And the third one, or actually there's a couple more. The third ding that I give this bag is it is a little on the wide side. Let me get my measuring tape here. Yeah, so it kind of measures, to be honest, 4.5 inches wide. Yep, about 4.5 inches wide. It kind of stops right here. It's pretty wide. And so moving forward, I have also refrained from buying or purchasing anything that has this sort of width, just because I am a crossbody handbag kind of gal. And because I found that I didn't super love carrying this bag crossbody, I ended up carrying it top handle mostly, which then made it lean super formal, which wasn't an issue for me because fortunately I have some other casual black bags that I'm totally fine leaning into when I want to wear that. But with this one in particular, I found that I would take it to, like, I'm a realtor, so I would take it to closings, appointments like that where I didn't need to carry too much, but I had, a pretty busy day ahead, because this does fit quite a bit. So let me open it up for my last and final complaint on this, and that would be, while this suede lining, you're not really going to be able to see it. You kind of see it right there. The suede lining is absolutely gorgeous. However, I ended up having the Mulberry Bayswater tote, and I sold that one. I loved the color. It was in their like cognac shade. I think in the shade it's called oak. I loved it. But the interior lining was navy blue, and I couldn't ever quite find a bag liner that would fit in that bag. And I found that a lot of my work materials are in white, and they were all getting dirty with a navy blue shade on them at the edges. So that bag had to go because it was staining. I think it messed up one of my SLGs also, and I didn't love that bag that much. However, I never quite had that problem with this, but that probably has to do with the fact that I have a Zumoni insert in there, as you can see with the little logo there. I have a Zumoni insert, and that has allowed me to keep super organized with this bag. As you can see, these top handles are pretty malleable at this point, so they're never quite in the way. So if you're wondering, these top handles are pretty nice. They're malleable, but they're stiff enough to kind of stay in place. Your drop length on this is 4 inches. That's pretty generous, because I know with the Celine luggage tote, it's not very much. I think it's like 2.5 or 3 inches, where this, as you can see, I don't have the tiniest of arms, but I don't have the biggest of arms. It's just super easy with room to spare. So I very much enjoyed carrying this top handle and to something like an office type setting, because it sits quite nicely. it was also nice, like if I happened to be at work and then we went out for dinner with my husband, I liked it as a date night bag. However, it's a little too big as a date night bag. Like maybe if we keep our date nights pretty simple, we have to, but because you can fit a lot, if you need to kind of look put together and have a little bit of extra space, I feel like this size is the happy medium, because I don't like the next size up. I really thought that perhaps I made a mistake and should have bought this bag in the larger size, and perhaps that would have functioned better for me, but I'm not a top handle only kind of gal. I have to have the ability to carry it crossbody, because at any given point I am needing to be hands-free. But the strap is also, it's also this skinny, and I think that just looks so off balance, and so it just does, the aesthetics of it don't work. And yes, sometimes it does boil down to aesthetics, but I think even from a functional standpoint, this is too skinny for a larger bag. So that said, let me measure this for you guys really quickly. So the width is 9 inches, which 9 inches is my happy medium. And again, we know this is about 4.5 inches. And the height, sorry if I'm a little breathy, it's because I've been like rushing all day today. The height is about 8 inches. So really nice. My sweet spot with handbags tends to be 9 inches in width, 6 inches in height, and 3 inches in depth. So that extra inch is a little too much for me, if I'm honest, particularly because it goes all the way up. Now, when you do zip up the bag, it does kind of narrow out, as you can see. And in the background here, this is everything that came with the bag, by the way. Mulberry does a beautiful job. You don't get a box, but you do get the control tag. So again, mini zipped Bayswater in the small classic grain. This is a staple for them. They always have this. So as I was saying, it does not come in a box, but it came in that bag in the background. It came wrapped in tissue. It was really nicely packaged. The dust bag is beautiful. This cotton is substantial enough, but you have a little bit of that microfiber lining. Feels very similar to the Polen dust bags. And let's see, what does it say here? This care bag has been made with sustainably sourced cotton. The pull cord has been crafted with 100% recycled materials. So it came with all of those goodies, and this bag and this brand is a heritage brand for England, and they have every reason to be proud of this particular brand, because I feel like if you think about the weather over there, they get a lot of rain, and it can be dreary oftentimes. And so this bag, I felt like, would really fill a lot of shoes that I needed it to fill, because it rains a lot where I'm at. We deal with a lot of humidity. I'm kind of in and out. I don't want to have to worry about a bag. It's why I don't really have any bags in my collection that have smooth leather, or at least one that I have to worry about. I really need my bags to be carefree, not because I'm one to not take care of my bags, but just because, for my own reason, I don't want to have to worry about them. So anyway, again, I thought this was a little Birkin-esque, just because you have that closure here. I do find I've had this bag for a year now, and the hardware is, it doesn't look new anymore. It's exposed to the elements, so that probably will happen. Some people don't like this kind of going down like that. They want it to stay straight, but you know, the leather is going to give a little bit. I actually like it. It looks like a little bow in the front. And again, the inside, I mean, honestly, I haven't used this a ton, and I feel like I'm sounding super negative on this, but I guess for me it's because I did so much research and I sold so many bags. I went through a lot of effort to get to this bag, and I have found that I unfortunately don't wear her as much. I actually wear this Mulberry bag much more, which is the Mini Alexa. And I love this one. This one's super annoying, and I'll share the reasons why in another video. It's this. You've got magnetic closure here and this turn lock. It's a pain to get in and out of, but this suits my wardrobe, my lifestyle a little bit more, because when I want something smaller, I want it to be smaller, and I kind of want it to make a statement piece. I want it to be a statement piece. Where this, I feel like I was playing it too safe, particularly for a black handbag. I always wear in my mind, like I love the way Mrs. Leva styles her Birkin, and she's probably like my, if I could dress however I want to, I would dress like her, but I don't. I have probably a more boho style. I wear a lot of casual dresses. I wear a ton of dresses, and so yes, you would think, okay, well, this goes really well with it. It doesn't pair very well with a boho style, in my opinion. I don't like the way they look together, particularly in the shade of black. So I have since made friends with a Mulberry sales associate, and she agrees. She thinks I probably should try to part ways with this one and grab it in a different color, like navy blue or something a bit more fun. And she's like, I bet you'll get a ton more use out of this bag. And I think she's right. So for that reason, she might not stay in my collection, and I say that pretty painstakingly, but it's one of those bags that taught me a lot. However, I don't feel like anything, there's never a waste when you are learning something. I know in a handbag, how serious can it be? But I do feel like this bag taught me a lot. And one thing that I'm realizing on me personally, and I said this in another video, is that I don't particularly prefer bags that are very square in shape. Like, I've always loved a box bag, but I used to have the August. So some of the bags that I sold to get to this one was the August Atelier. I loved the leather on that bag, but I found that that was just too square and too structured for me. Why I like the Pochette Matisse or the Dress Up Your Purse Works for me is because it's got some soft edges to it, and I feel like that's interesting enough and can lean more formal, but I also feel like it could lean more casual, where this, I don't know, it just screams a bit more formal to me against my particular wardrobe. So otherwise, the leather on this bag is absolutely stunning. Again, I've worn her enough to know that it fits quite a bit, and it has softened up a bit. When you first get it, it is pretty, it can be pretty like rigid, but how I would store her would be with it zipped like this, so that this leather would just, oh, it feels so luscious just touching it here. But the reality is, if I'm completely honest, I purchased this bag after selling this bag for the first time around that I had it. As a reminder, this is the brand new 2024 version with the updated hardware. So the D-ring is not going to have those tarnishing issues, at least I hope not, as it used to have. So I purchased this after I sold this, very foolishly, but I was on the hunt for something to fulfill the role of this bag. I have since learned there's nothing that's ever going to replace this bag for me. It's one that I've always loved. It's one that I wouldn't say I equated it with luxury or anything. It was just a bag that I like. And it's funny because this one is on the thicker side. Let's see. Yeah, almost 6 inches wide. But I wear this one shoulder carry mostly, or top handle. And so this bag taught me that I'm never going to be able to replace the Speedy. The Speedy is a Speedy for me. It has a, top handle. They're very similar, as you can see. Top handle, both have zip closures, but the Speedy is a Speedy. So this video isn't about the Speedy, but I bought this after I had sold that and had a little bit of seller's remorse. So again, what this beauty has taught me is, sometimes certain things can't replace other. If you want a certain something, you probably should just stick with that in the first place. And you also need to really pay attention to what your style is. And I made the realization that despite the slightly daintier elements of this bag, it's a bit too formal for me, and color plays such a huge role in it. And you would think black is such a safe color, but in this case it was probably the wrong way to go. I don't love this bag in the oak color. I wish it came, the mini Alexa comes in another shade of brown. I don't know what the name of it is off the top of my head, but it comes in this different, gosh, chestnut. It's called chestnut. I wish this bag came in chestnut, and if it does at any given point, I'm probably going to snag it then. And then I could probably easily part ways with this. But this one, I can't say that I don't like it. I don't want to, I gave you my complaints, but it's not this outright like, oh my gosh, I love this bag. It's just one of those, I played it too safe. And I probably, despite all my research that went into getting this, because I didn't want to get it wrong, I didn't quite get it right. It was a little bit of a miss for me, but one that I've lived with nonetheless. Now in the background here, I'm kind of rolling this up. The glazing on this bag is absolutely just, it's smooth, it's gorgeous. The stitching all throughout this bag is just stunning. There are just zero complaints. All of my Mulberry pieces have been this way. They've all been consistent, so well done. So from a brand standpoint, I'm a huge fan. It also has some glazing on these edges here and on these bits right here. It's beautiful. I guess one other thing I probably failed to kind of do, this does loosen up a bit. As you can tell, I don't want to stretch it out too much. I like it kind of put together, but that does open up. So if you wanted to, you know how some people wear the Birkin loose like that? I think you can pull it better. You can pull it off better with the Birkin. I personally like mine closed up like that, all tidy and beautiful, and just, she's a beauty. What can I say? But in the end, will this be a forever piece of my collection? Probably not. However, I can't say that I have buyer's remorse or I have any regrets getting this. Again, I feel like I learned so much from this one bag, and it made me realize that sometimes you could research something to death and just kind of miss the mark and then feel guilty about missing the mark. But, you know, when she goes, she goes. If she stays for a while longer, then great. But anyhow, I hope you found this helpful if you're considering this bag. I probably sounded more negative than anything, but really, I guess one thing I should point out. Sorry, I'm bringing this one in. These two fit about the same amount. This for sure fits more, but you don't want to like overfill this up. However, this Mulberry fits quite a bit. You guys know what I usually carry in my bag. I can carry everything that I normally carry and some. I could probably add a Kindle in there. It does fit an iPad mini. You really could carry, if you carry a planner and your everyday essentials in your bag, all of that fits. It's quite spacious. And so what I would do is I'd fit things in each of those pockets, as you can see in my Zumoni organizer, and you have that entire 4-inch space down there on the bottom to fit just about everything you can think of. So I would fill everything in, and I would throw my phone on the top, and my sunglasses. This is probably like one of the best bags to carry when you have to put your sunglasses in and out of your bag. Super comfy. So now I would say I've said everything I needed to say about this bag. I sincerely hope you guys found this helpful. If this size is something you feel is going to work well for you and you need something in between a larger or smaller size, I think this is the perfect medium-sized bag without being as wide as a Speedy and without being too small where you're just not going to fit everything in. You're going to fit everything you need in this beauty. Again, I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, certainly leave them down below in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.